So today is a very special video. So this is a video for Gruncle. So Gruncle is one of our subscribers and he's been quite active in our comments. So to help another friend out and welcome to Wubby Gaming, the place where gamers grow. We're grateful for the people that do subscribe and help us out. We had a request from Gruncle to have a look at some of his Infinite Gauntlet and give him some tips. So I haven't looked at this video yet. It's a 5-minute video, so we will do it at real time. And we're gonna stop and pause here and there with anything that we can do to help Gruncle. So the first thing is, I'm not sure what node this is, but I'm guessing because everyone is at 120s, it's maybe around 20-ish. Bora, Lindworm, and Heist. Looking at this team, this can be a little bit tricky because they've got Elvira with Evasion, so that's a bit unlucky if Elvira is running the status caster Evasion. But looking at this team, I do like the Bora and I do like Lindworm. I don't know if there's a better alternative to Heist, and the runes are a bit interesting. So we've got a 6, a 5, and a 3 on Bora, a 7, a 5, and a 5 on Lindworm, and we've got a 5, a 4, and a 5 on Heist. So my first recommendation for you, Gruncle, is to work out who your top 3 Gauntlet monsters are going to be and invest in them. And when I mean invest in them, I mean things like upgrading them to all level 7 runes. You want 3 level 7 runes on each of them. And looking at those relics, the Tabora relic looks like you haven't been investing or you haven't been playing for that long of a period of time. We've got some silver relics on Tabora, so if we can, we do want to try to get either a Jazzy Mask or another Euros Essence on Tabora. I would prioritize a Euros Essence on Tabora because it's going to help you stay alive, and Euros Essence is probably one of the best. On Lindworm, it looks like we've got a gold stuff. I'm not sure which gold stuff that is. If it is the one that charges your stamina, then that's alright. And Heist, I don't like Heist to begin with. So I think you should be able to get better options than Heist. So let us know what other monsters you have because Heist has got to go. So let's see what we've got in terms of skills and turn orders and things like that. So Gracon 76. Okay, so hopefully you check everyone else's speed as well. I'm guessing that you just showed Gracon because Gracon is the fastest. So looking at the speed, we've got Tabora and Lindworm. So that's good because Tabora can trait disable everyone and positive effect remove. So especially when you have something like an Elvira, that it looks like you've got my favorite trick, Granite Melter, Amber Dust, and Initiation Ritual. My favorite trick is good, Amber Dust is good. Granite Melter, is that the one that does heavy damage? And Initiation Ritual, I'm not sure what that one does either. Hopefully it got tagged properly. Alright, so Tabora, Granite Melter, heavy damage. And run it, but I don't recommend it. You're not running Cursed Stones, so you do need to swap in Cursed Stones. And I think you're running Initiation Ritual. So what I do and what I run and the moveset I recommend is my favorite trick. You've got that on, so that's great. And the next skill that's important is Cursed Stones because apply Curse to all enemies. Curse is like the #1 damage over time skill. So on the first turn, you remove 10% of stamina and life. On the second turn, 20%. And on the third turn, 40%. So Curse is actually what you're going to use to kill the monsters. So definitely run Curse Stones. The one thing you need to be careful about Curse is don't reapply it. Let all 3 turns go before you try to reapply. Because if you apply 10% and they have another turn, it's 20%. And then you reapply Curse again, it's going to reset to the very beginning. So it's going to go back to 10%. So definitely run Cursed Stones, that's your second most important. And third, you want to run Amber Dust. So I don't think you're running Amber Dust. So Quicksand takes off a percentage of health after each turn. So Quicksand plus Cursed Stones is how you're going to kill monsters. So definitely run Amber Dust. And the last one that I recommend, this one you can run Granite Melter if you want, but I would recommend Sapo Buffer instead, which disables traits and applies Curse and Quicksands to one enemy. So this is a single target. So in case you want to only focus on one monster instead of all 3, so they're the skill sets that I would recommend. So first one is change your skill sets for Tabora. I don't think you're running the most optimal skill set and that's going to contribute to you losing. Let's see what else we have. So you're running Sequence Bender, Time Scourge, Revert Event, and Age Overseas. So the one thing I'm thinking of is both Lindworm and Tabora both have Curse. So that might be the reason why you're not running the Curse on Tabora. What I would recommend here is go with the skill set that I recommended on Tabora, but make Lindworm your fastest attacker. Why I'm recommending make Lindworm your fastest attacker is Lindworm can always turn transfer into Tabora, and Tabora really only has the triple AoE disabled trait as her most useful skill, and the others are sort of nice to have, whereas Lindworm has more skills that you really want to use. The first skill you really want to use is Sequence Bender, because then you can turn transfer to someone like a Tabora, so you definitely have to run Sequence Bender. The next skill you want to run is Age Overseer, the one that reverts baby and then applies curse. You definitely want to run that because the baby turns everyone into a baby, and then you can start chipping away at the fastest denier. So the skill sets I recommend here is you've got Age Overseer, so that's great. You have Time Scourge, which is good. That's an optional one. So I do like to run Time Scourge, but you don't have to. You are running Revert Events. I recommend Revert Events because that can give you a lot more flexibility and you'll learn how to play the game a lot better. Era Traveler activates all cooldowns on one enemy. So you definitely want to run that because it gives you a lot of flexibility. And in the case where you're running a Tabora and Lindworm combo, you do want the single target era. Once they revert from babies, the fastest denier, in this case Gruncle, is going to come back, and then you can use Lindworm because you make Lindworm your fastest monster and make Lindworm do and activate all cooldowns on the Gruncle because then Gruncle can't do anything again. So you want to switch in Era Traveler. So I would recommend go with Sequence Bender, definitely. Definitely go with Era Traveler so you can have a single target. Definitely go with Age Overseer so you have the baby. And then after that, I would probably go with Revert Event because it does give you more flexibility. So you should baby transform here. This is a bit unlucky to be fair. So Wildbird and Gruncle both have area dodge, and your skill set with Tabora only took off the disabled trait on here. So that's why the Sapu Buffo is kind of important. If you had the Sapu Buffo, then instead of doing the AoE on everyone, what you could have done is you could have done the trait disable on the Gruncle, and then once you do the AoE trait disable, then on your Lindworm you can do the Era Traveler, the single target onto Gruncle. So here I think this battle will sort of go downhill, just because we didn't have the right skill sets equipped, and we bumped into two area dodge monsters. So this will probably be tough, or not tough, but less optimal than it could have been. The only other thing I'll say there is you probably killed everyone too fast. You probably could have gotten some of your stamina back because you see how your Tabora here is really low stamina now and you have to recharge. Had the turn transfer and Tabora had stamina, I would have turn transferred over here and did the disable. Not bad for heist. So yeah, really curious to know which other monsters you have instead of heist. Post for me why you chose heist and what your thinking there was. I'm not going to go into the moveset for Heist just because I don't recommend him as a monster, and also I don't really know him that well because I never use him. And Lindworm and Tabora are running quite low. Okay, so we have a Rotten, we have a Aatrox, we have a Bombetta. Bombetta is a good candidate. We have a Slug, we have a Teddy, don't use Teddy. We have an Ignis. Ignis is a candidate. We have a Kodama. So out of these monsters, your best monsters are Ignis because he has a positive effect remover. You have Tabora already, so I wouldn't rank up Ignis. You have Kodama. Kodama is definitely a good option because he can do a lot of stamina drain if you have the right relics. So whether or not Kodama or Bombetta is good would depend on what relics you have. So with Kodama, you need either Sherazar's or the mask, Jazzy. Ideally Sherazar's or second Jazzy mask. So I'm guessing you might not have those. And if you don't have those, then Bombetta is your next best choice. So I would rank up either Bombetta or Kodama to go with your Tabora and Lindworm. Probably Bombetta will be better bang for buck if you don't have the right relics. If you do have Sherazar's, then you can go either way, just depending on playstyle. On balance, I would say Bombetta is your better bet. And the other thing I noticed is a lot of your monsters, your mythics, aren't up to level 50. So what you want to do is all of your mythics and your cosmic mythics, rank them all up to level 50, feed them all to level 50 as soon as you can, because once they hit level 50, they hit their maximum gold per minute, and you get a lot more gold, so that you can then use that gold to, say, make more food and do other things that you need to do with your gold. So I'm guessing you need to work on your gold production a lot as well. I'll do a future video on gold production, but for now you can head over to the Placid Fury Discord. I want more gold. So head over to here and check out the pins, because there's some useful information here about how to get more gold. Probably need to work on a panda farm similar to this. So when I first started, this was all full of pandas, and once I got a bit better and grew a bit, then I started mixing pandas and epics. But for you, based on where you are at in the game right now, I would create panda farms. So once you get a bit more advanced, then you can have a look at layouts. So this is one that I used maybe a few months ago in June. I've now got a more optimized one based on the information in... so this is very similar to what I've got right now. It's more optimized than the previous version, thanks to Pyro and the good guys over at MLG Guides. So here's the link to the MLG Guide, so you can have a look at the optimal placements, probably like 95% perfect. So those can really help you with the placement of your islands as well. So you do need to focus on gold production as well. I'm not sure why you put Rotten in. I'm very confused on that one, why you put those guys in. That was probably a waste, because that just one-shot all of you guys. I probably wouldn't have bothered doing this, because that is going to have too much stamina. So I get that we're trying to get rid of some of the stamina, but it would be better to focus on using the right movesets with your original monsters, rather than trying to go for the strategy that we're using right now. If any of these were running life runes, then you can switch the life rune out for a normal rune. They don't know that it's there anymore, and you can get your life back that way, but you don't have any life runes on here. So I'm guessing you died here. Here again, so stamina management is really important. So what I noticed is you kept attacking and attacking, and you didn't look at the turn order. So when you're using monsters early on, especially when you don't have the stamina replenishing relics like Jazzy Mask, then you want to be careful of how you finish the node. So the aim isn't just to kill everyone as quickly as you can. The aim is to win the node in an efficient way and set yourself up for the next node as well. So that might be, say, healing your monsters, or it might be recharging so that you have stamina to start the next node, because you really want to avoid this situation where you have to recharge in your first turn. It's kind of a waste, and it's not going to end well. So I'm guessing everyone dies here. Your video keeps going, so maybe everyone doesn't die. So props to you if you managed to pull a win out of this. And the other thing is, don't gem. I'm hoping you didn't gem. Just go as far as you can, because if you're doing 21 to 29, you're not going to get enough gems to make it worth it. You're not going to get enough Stardust to make it worth gemming. Oh,